Why, hello there. It is Tuesday, 5:19, and we are doing cardio today. So the format for today is a HIITLISS workout, so which stands for high intensity interval training and alternating with low intensity steady state. So one exercise will be more of a steady state, more of a strength exercise, definitely lower intensity. Second exercise will be that higher intensity, more dynamic movement. So each exercise will be done for 40 seconds. We're going to be doing 2 sets of each bracket, and there are 8 brackets to get through, or 8 rounds to get through. So we're going to start with our alternating single leg squat. So all you need for this is a bench, a couch, a chair, some sort of elevated surface. You're going to start on one foot. You're going to actually lower yourself back to that seat and come back up, and then switch at the top. So if you can, you're trying to keep that heel loaded, right? We're not ever shifting to the ball of the foot, right? And we're reaching those hips back. You can counterbalance with those hands if you want, but we want to control down and drive up quick. So you want to squeeze that glute to the top, okay? Alternating sides there. If that's too difficult, I want you to work on that decline, right? Or that eccentric movement. And then if you can't get up on one leg, either cheat with that heel and come up that way and then switch at the top, or work on that decline back and then put that second foot down to come back up, whichever works for you. Exercise 2, we have a touchdown jack. So hands and feet are going to start together kind of like a pencil, and you're going to drop into that squat, touch down, and alternate sides. So at any point in time, if it's too much cardio, you feel like you're getting a little too winded, take the arms out of it and just keep doing the legs. If you don't like the jump, you can just step it out to the sides. But notice my feet are always staying hip distance apart, or in that even distribution. So we're not keeping one leg straight, right? We're stepping out and we're staying evenly distributed to those 2 sides, okay? Whatever version works for you, and then you're going back through for another set. So 2 sets there, and then we're moving on to round number 2. So we need a possible bench. So it's kind of a your choice push-up. So if you'd like more of a challenge, you're gonna have your feet on an elevated surface, and you're gonna come out, whoop, for those push-ups. Make sure that that bench isn't gonna move. Okay, so you're gonna be here, or you can do it on the floor. If that's a newer thing for you and you started doing elevated before, you can be on the floor. Or if you need a little bit more help, besides going down on your knees, you certainly can use that elevated surface in this direction. Either way, I want those hands wider than those shoulders so that when you're coming down, those elbows are stacked over those wrists, right? We're also hollowing out that stomach so we're not dipping in that lower back. So we're supporting that core, all right? And then we're gonna be pairing that with exercise 2 is a forearm elevated oblique mountain climber to an outside mountain climber. So you're gonna be on that elevated surface, on those forearms, so you have some room for those knees to move as opposed to being on the floor. And you're gonna go knee across, knee outside, and then you're gonna go the other way. Knee across, outside. So the reason why we're in our forearms is so that we're more into that core, right? We're getting a little bit more dynamic with here, but we want to stabilize still with that upper body. You can go as quick as you feel comfortable. Just make sure we're not bouncing around, all right? Again, we go back through push-ups and then into that forearm elevated oblique mountain climbers to the outside mountain climbers. And then we're moving on to round 3. So we have lateral lunge to curtsy lunge, and we have a hide into a single leg hop. So nothing crazy new here. Start on one side, lateral lunge to curtsy lunge, okay? If you want, you're more than welcome to switch sides if you've got the room. Most of us probably don't, okay? So you're gonna go all one side for round 1, and then round 2, when we come back here, then you would go the other direction, right? Lateral lunge to curtsy lunge. Make sure that when we're doing that lateral lunge, we're getting all the way over, knee is stacked over that ankle. Make sure we're not overreaching, and we're not leaving our hips over here. We want to push them over and back diagonally to that back corner. So we're getting that stretch in the inner thigh into those adductors, right? When we come back, right, for that curtsy lunge, I don't care that we go way over. I don't want those hips to rotate. I want this to stay nice and stable. So you're gonna reach back. Think more of a reverse lunge that's slightly off kilter, right? We're just trying to get that back knee to disappear behind that front heel, right? So we're still extended into that hip flexor, head, shoulders, hips, back knee should be in one straight line, right? Try not to get into that forward fold, all right? Moving on to exercise 2, we have a hide into a single leg hop. So again, it's all gonna be loaded one side. Round 2, you'll switch it. So you're gonna start on one leg, rebound quick, single leg hop. Rebound quick, single leg hop. All one side. When you go back to do that lateral lunge, curtsy lunge for the other side, same thing goes for that hide in quick and stick to that single leg hop, all right? Moving on to round number 4. We have a T rotation to an opposite hand to touch, and that's actually a second exercise, and we have a row to a reverse fly. So weights, I'm gonna say dumbbells, but it can be anything, wine bottles, soup cans, whatever you've got. You can certainly, if you have kettlebells instead, just don't do anything too crazy, because that reverse fly is gonna be the determining factor for this exercise. So nice and tight, regular row, reverse fly, right? Regular row, reverse fly. At any point in time, remember, we're here for 40 seconds. So if you need a reprieve for that back or to stay in that core nice and loaded the way we're supposed to, I would much rather better form, take a quick breather, go back into it when we're ready, all right? So back is perfectly flat, knees are bent, hips are back, we're over those toes, okay? Head is nice and neutral. Exercise 2 is that T rotation to that opposite hand and touch to the toe. So you're gonna start in that plank position, right? We're gonna rotate over into that T, right? Come back, and you're gonna reach opposite hand to foot. And then we're gonna go other side. T rotation, nice and long, right? We're not lax with that top hand. We're not getting lazy. We want everything nice and tight, right? Reach, reach, okay? When we're in that T rotation, really thinking strong all the way through the core. Try to get everything to move in one unit, all right? So we're not bending at the hips. We're not overextending that shoulder. Think nice and long, reach for that top, hand to that ceiling. Get that length through fingertip to fingertip. All right, and then you go back through again. Row to reverse fly, back to those T rotations, and then we're moving on to round number 5. So round number 5, we've got some leg curls. So leg curls, we're gonna need those face cloths, and we're gonna be, angle you a little bit differently here. Okay, so leg curls, heels are gonna go on those face cloths. So we're gonna start nice and tight in, right? Hips are up. We're gonna go from here. We're gonna extend those legs all the way out, right? And then pull them back in, right? We're staying up the whole time if we can. If you need a reprieve, remember, drop those hips down, right? Roll them back up, extend out, all right? Again, if that's way too much for those hamstrings, you can certainly just opt to do more of a hip back, okay? Find what works for you. And then we're moving on to broad jump to 180-degree turn. So a little bit of space here. Remember, you can always modify to something else. If you already know another hamstring glute exercise, feel free to do that instead. But you're gonna do a broad jump. So remember, we don't have to go super far, kind of test the waters out a little bit here. So you're gonna load, right? Just like we were getting ready for those jumping mechanics. Load, explode, right? Sit back into it, 180-degree turn, right? Load, explode, right? 180-degree turn. Make sure that you're always turning towards the same side. So it's the way that I went, forward to the right, right? Forward to the left, okay? So Pick a side of the room, use it as a reference. Most people get a little bit more confused if they have to think, did I go left, did I go right? That makes it a lot easier. Always turn towards the TV, always turn towards the couch. Whatever direction works for you, just make sure that you're alternating that side so that way you're not getting dizzy and going in circles, all right? So that brings us back to those leg curls, back to that broad jump, 180-degree turn. Again, if you don't like the broad jump, if you can do more of just the turn, or if you just want to do squat jumps, or if you don't want to jump at all and you just want to do more of a squat to toes, you can be right here, okay? Put that box or that elevated surface behind you if you're not really sure of your footing. And then we're moving on to our hammer curl and press. So again, back to those weights. Doesn't have to be dumbbells, but you're gonna keep those hands nice and neutral. You're gonna curl it up, press it up, right? Just so I can be in focus here. So palms always stay in towards each other. We're gonna come into almost a front carry and then keep it neutral. So our elbows stay in nice and tight, right? We're not gonna veer off to the sides here. We wanna keep them nice and tight in, right? Slow and controlled. Make sure we're not swinging those hands back for that curl, right? Get extension, quick little pause at the bottom, curl it, press it. All the way back down. Curl it, press it. If you need to, bring that foot back, right? Make sure our rib cage is staying tucked in and we're not arching in that back, all right? That's a hammer curl to press. Then we're doing one arm extension. Oh, so we're gonna need those sliders. So one arm is extending, one arm is doing that tricep push-up. So palms are gonna be on those face cloths. So imperative, if you're doing alternating sides, which I find easier, okay, I'm gonna grab a cushion. If you want a little bit more of a cushion for your knees, you can. I would suggest lifting your feet so that the tops of your quads are actually what's on the ground and not your patella or your kneecap. Okay, so hands are right, nice and tight, right? We're not shrugging those shoulders up, we're pulling those shoulders back and down, get that extension through that neck, right? Rib cage in, we're hollowing out that stomach, and we're gonna extend one arm out, right? Other elbow is gonna come in nice and tight, and then we're gonna pull it back in. And then we're gonna alternate sides. So as long as that weight is over that hand, right? So shoulder is literally stacked over the wrist. We're not gonna have to worry about the other hand sliding out while we're trying to extend out, right? But it's imperative that we stay weight head over those hands, right? Alternating with the hand that is extending and the hand that is doing the tricep push-up. You might find one side's a lot harder than the other. I think it's better to alternate. If you don't feel comfortable with that, feel free to ditch one, do all one side for round one. Remember, we're doing 2 sets, right? And then switch it to the other side, all right? That brings us back to hammer curl to press, another round of those, and then we're moving on to round 7. So round 7, we have a single leg RDL. We're gonna be alternating sides again, just to make life a little easier for you. So if you have those weights, you're gonna still keep them in hand. Again, you can certainly do body weight. There's no right or wrong here. So you're gonna stand on one foot, right? Ground through the heel, ground through the toes, but we're gonna make sure that we're keeping everything stacked, right? Hips are nice and squared up, shoulders are squared up. Single leg RDL, come back up, and you're gonna switch sides, right? Whoop. Single leg RDL, this is what happens when you are paying attention more to someone else than what you're doing yourself. Good, so you're flexing that back foot. I want you to think nice and long, like you're throwing energy out the top of your head and that heel. Core stays tight, we're just tipping at the hips. So from a side view, right, our knee has a slight bend, right? We're extending, and we're getting that pull through that hamstring and squeezing through that glute to the top. Keeping those dumbbells nice and close, right? We're not out here with the weight, right? We're keeping it nice and close so our lower back doesn't have to work too hard. All right, alternating sides for that single leg RDL, and then we're doing a knee repeater. So if you have like a step stool, you can certainly use it. I'm not using it today. Option 1, so you're gonna be here. If you had that step, your front foot would be on it, okay? But you're gonna reach back, you're gonna load through that quad. That heel doesn't leave unless you're doing a hop with this. So in other words, you could either stay here and reach back, right? So we don't have to necessarily touch the floor. See how there's a break in my back? I want to keep that line nice and long. The way that I'm gonna get low is by reaching this foot back. So I'm gonna reach as far back as I can, power up, right? So we're gonna go 20 seconds here, right into the other side, 20 seconds here. So we're splitting the time. If it gets too confusing, all one side for one round, next time switch it, okay? I would suggest splitting the difference. I just think it's a little easier, all right? But if you need more of a challenge and you want to stay a little lopsided just for a couple extra seconds, feel free. You can do all one side at a time, all right? Again, if you had that box, you would just keep that front foot on there. It just gives you a little bit more range of motion, all right? Just make sure with the hop, you're not moving all over creation. If you don't like the hop, just staying right here, right? You're going to get plenty of cardio driving through, okay? All right, 2 sets of that. Single leg RDLs, knee repeater, you're going back through again, and then you're going into our last one, which is a band external rotation. So you're gonna be alternating sides. So if you have a band, if you don't have a band, don't panic, I have another version for you. So you're gonna grab, I don't know, about 8 to 10 inches apart maybe, and you're gonna vary this. So this is not gonna be it depends on what the tension of that band is. Secondly, it depends on, the width of what your torso is. So kind of see what works for you to start with. But you want 90-degree bend at the elbows, right? So our shoulders are set back, elbows are nice and tight. We never move them away or back. They stay glued in as if you had a towel pinned underneath your armpit. You're gonna squeeze those elbows in, and we're gonna alternate anchoring from one side and pulling out from the other, and then anchoring from this side and pulling out from the other. So if it's too hard, right, you're just gonna ease up on that tension a little bit, right? But we're trying to keep that wrist nice and neutral, all right? If you need to have more tension, you're just gonna squeeze in a little bit tighter, right? Same rules apply. If for some reason you don't have a band, okay, you're gonna do a sideline version of the same exact thing. You can use a lightweight, you can even use body weight, but you're gonna have those feet as if you're sitting in a chair, right? 90-degree bend at the knees, 90-degree bend at the hips. We're keeping a nice straight line, head to bum, right? So our elbow stays in nice and tight. We're gonna think actually thumb up towards the ceiling if we're in this position. And so if we had a weight, it would be more like this, okay? 10 pounds is too much, okay? You want light. Think like soup can, okay? And again, if you need to, at any point in time, it's a long time to be here, right? So think super light. Even body weight is fine, but you want to keep that elbow stacked, and you're just going all the way down to as far back as it can without moving that elbow around, right? It's pivoting from that shoulder, that rotator cuff, that ball and socket joint, okay? Nice straight line. Make sure we're not pulling that hand in. 90 degrees that elbow the whole time, right? So again, you go 40 seconds and then second round, switch it. If you are like too much for that shoulder, do 20 and 20 for both rounds. You can split the difference of the time, all right? And then you're going back to exercise 2, which is prone row to a plank jack. So all you need is one weight really in the middle. If you have dumbbells, you can certainly use one on each side and keep your hands on the dumbbells. For those of us who have limited equipment, you're going to be more in that plank position, dumbbell in the middle. So you're going to do a prone row, right? Plank jack. Prone row, plank jack. Okay? If you don't like the jump for that jack, just tap it out. Right? Pull, tap. All right? Whatever version works for you. Again, like I said, if you have specific dumbbells that don't really roll, or maybe you do and you want a little bit more stability work for those shoulders, right? You can stay right here and do that instead, okay? Lots of versions. Do what works for you. Look at what kind of equipment. You really only need 2 weights, doesn't matter what they are. An elevated surface like a bench or a couch or a chair, and then the face cloth. If you have a band, great. If not, like I said, you can just do body weight or light weight like a suit can. All right? Otherwise, 40 seconds each exercise, 2 rounds for each bracket. And there's 8 brackets to get through. So hope you guys like it. Happy Tuesday. Stay tuned. We got some more stuff coming your way for the rest of this week, including my total body workout on Thursday. And hope you guys are all staying well. We hope to see you soon. Have a great day, guys.